How about that? How many of y'all want 2 Prez checks in the house? That's crazy, right? And I'm super excited for you guys to hear from them. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the call over now to the brand new President's Team member, but also brand new 15K senior executive. Not one of them things, but 2 of them things. 15K senior executive President's Team member, Ray Hicks. You guys go ahead and take it away. We're super excited.
What's up, you guys? Fire me up. First, I just want to say thank you for having us on this call, and super grateful to be here doing this on a Friday night. Actually, this is like stuff that we love, so it's not like taking us out of our element, really. I'm going to share some slides so that I can hopefully keep us on track through this. Throughout it, though, you know, I'm going to be bringing up the slides and taking them off. I like to see faces sometimes when we're talking. So first, like Steven said, we are a double Prez household. And I guess you would say when we first started, that's not what I didn't understand it. I knew that I wanted to do this, but I didn't fully understand the magnitude of what that would mean and what that could create for us, our family, the people around us, and our son. So we joined the business. Ray's gonna start with his invite into the business 4 years ago. So we'll go right into that.
Okay, cool. What's good, you guys? So Ray Hicks, Cleveland, Ohio. Got started with the business 4 years ago. 26 years old. So as you guys can see, when we got started on the left, that's me and my best friend, Hooter. He's another Prez team in our organization. I had met this is a quick story. I had met a guy that's in our organization under my upline, Jay Mikowski, Freddie. He was world team, and he hit world team fairly quickly, and I was like mind blown. I was like, okay, bet, let's get a picture. So I have that picture in my phone. I should have put that up here, but I was mind blown, and it's just crazy how much can change in that 4-year period if you just follow the structure, do the work, which you guys all have in place, of course. But got started from a gym invite. So guy met us in the gym. We were working out. He came up to us and he invited us to a nutrition club. At that time, our nutrition club model was very much so it was like red walls, just the bar was like 20 feet into the store. So you probably could have said hi to somebody like 10 times before they actually got to the counter. So it was just it was a grimy situation. It wasn't the best. Like some of our juice clubs now are pretty much flawless. Like it looks like a Starbucks. So got started there. I met Dave, which is the white guy on the right, one of my closest friends now. And he invited me to the STS, and there's where I met Jay Mikowski. He shared on stage that he made 6 figures last year, and I was in the back. I walked to this STS. I came to this STS late, sat in the back, some basketball shorts on, t-shirt. It was summertime, just like, what is this? What is this thing, right? So get there. I'm like, as they started talking, I'm like sitting up, fixing my posture, started looking around. I'm like, damn, I'm underdressed. These people talking real numbers. Let me sit up. So I'm like, now I'm sorry how I show up, right? But at the end of the event, I pulled Jay aside. I'm like, yo, so you said you made 6 figures. You're like, at that time, I think he was like 24 or 25. I'm like, yo, so how much, like for real, like how much did you make like last month? And I'm like, can you like show me? I'm like hard pressed. So he shows me his check. At that time, it was around 18,000. I didn't even know that was possible at that age. Steven, I can see you. Is it cool? I can share numbers here. It's all good. Okay, cool.
Sounds great.
Okay, cool. So 18,000 in a month. So I was mind blown. I was sold immediately. I'm like, okay, bet. Whatever you're doing, show me how to do it, and I'll do the exact same thing. At that time, I was working at a grocery store called Aldi, where you guys are from. You might have some of those. So they were. my job was to go to different stores in different states to train other managers how to be managers. So they sent me to Cali, the lower part of Cali, though, was like right on the border of Mexico. So it wasn't fun, nothing like that. It was just like strictly work. But after I came back from there, that's when I got introduced that's when I went to the event, things like that. So I quit my job right away. At that time I was earning, I feel like I had earned like 48,000 in a year. Now, the background that I come from, our family didn't make that much money. So it was like, what are you doing? Why are you quitting this good job? My mom was like pissed, like, why are you quitting this job? Now you about to move back in with me. So it was just a whole like life switch up. But I was clear, like I knew if the average person to hit pres was 13 years, I was willing to wait that long. Like I didn't care. Like 13 years to make 100,000 plus a year, I know I need to be in this room. So long story short, started working at a nutrition club, didn't really make much profit at all. My first year into
You're going too far.
Okay, I'm going too hard. Okay.
Okay, so fast forward, Ray found the opportunity, but like a few weeks prior to that, he found the opportunity like August 25th, or that's when he signed up, but he found it like the beginning of August. And so really quick, there's a gem there. You ever meet somebody and you're like, they say they want to do the business and then they don't sign up right away. They just keep asking you a ton of questions. That was Ray. He would go to the nutrition club every day, ask all these questions and come home. And then eventually was like, I signed up. At the time I was living in New York City, and that's where me and him actually met. Actually in New Jersey, I was working at Nike outlet. And the reason why I was living in New York City is because I was like a personal assistant, and this is so funny, these pictures, I literally can't. This one on the left, bottom left, I was the personal assistant for Fabulous, the rapper, if you ever heard of him, in his studio. And I was doing segments on Wendy Williams' like website show, and I was like in cahoots and like shoulder rubbing some really big names, internship at Hot 97, internship at Sirius XM. And I was just like starting to realize that I didn't love this. I was doing it because I felt like that was the way I could use my voice to the highest level. And like reach goals because I really love music. I was also a DJ. So fast forward, Ray's like, you should try this tea, you should try this tea. And I'm like, broke is a joke because I'm living as an intern. And so the person that I'm living with, they're paying for me to live, but I'm not earning any of my own money in my pocket to where I can make my own decisions on what I want to do. I had like room and board, I had food. And then no, like, oh, I want to go out to eat tonight with some friends. So like, let me get this money, unless I was like waitressing, which I never really had time for because I was a personal assistant. So when he asked me about the tea, I was like broke and I just got tired of like putting him off. So I ended up texting my sister to borrow some money, and I purchased tea from him. And when I got the tea, he was like, read the back of the bottle. That's how you'll know how to do it. And like all this stuff. I'm like, what the heck? Why is this guy not telling me how to use this stuff? Like, whatever. So I read it, I used it, and it was amazing. And I had so much energy, and I never had energy like that living in New York City. It's like you could do one task a day. Could you turn that ceiling fan on? You could do like one task a day, and then like your day's done. So I came home, my parents, my family, my sisters, they seen my results. I had dropped like 15 pounds of weight that I knew I had, but I didn't know that I had more to lose after that. So I ended up getting the shakes too, and I lost 35 pounds. And so Ray just straight up asked me like, you can make this money or I can make this money. And so I was like, well, I want to do it. So I signed up, and fast forward to that, we ended up going to an event. And then this is our first event together as distributors. This is, on the left is Ray's frontline. His name is Willie. We call him Hooter. And then there's me. And we all walk the stage for senior consultant, QP, and supervisor, I believe. And this was at JKO in Columbus, Ohio with Garen Jones. So in him on the left, he didn't even show up for day two. Like, He went out because it was his 21st birthday. He didn't come. I'm like, I don't know if he's gonna make it, man. But long story short, just for a quick vision cast, we all hit press in the same year together. And so fast forward 6 months into the business opportunity, we actually found out that we were expecting. We lived together for like freaking 2 months and boom, we were pregnant. And to be completely honest, I was devastated. Like, I am so grateful for our son now, but at the time, I was finally getting in shape. I was a college athlete and I never felt like I was in full blown shape. And I was finally like getting to the place where I felt confident in myself. And then I was like, oh my God, we're gonna have a kid. Like, we're not even financially stable. I was really just taking on the opportunity. Like, it was gonna happen for me one day. Like, eventually. Like, if I'm doing the things, I'm going to the events, eventually I'll do enough personal development. Eventually enough people will get on products as clients and ask to join the business. Eventually is the mindset that I was in, but the universe was actually like, no, right now is when you're gonna get to work and you're gonna get uncomfortable. So this is a picture of us in the gym. I was pregnant, I was sick. The entire way down to Extravaganza, we were pulling over, I was throwing up. We had like zero money. I was retailing the entire way down to Extravaganza so we could eat, so we could get gas, so we could pay for our hotel when we got there. And in my mind, I was like, well, I'm pregnant, so, maybe we just won't go. We'll sit this one out. We can go next year. And Ray was like, did you not hear them? They said we had to go. Like, we don't have an option. And I was like, well, okay, I guess we're going. And we went to St. Louis, and when I was in that arena, it's like my sickness went away. Like, I was so, focused and just hearing the stories. And that was like when, like, Jaime and them and, like, Big Couple, they were walking the stage, like, a million times. And I'm just like, yo, who is this? And what does that K mean? And I really was just like, me too. Like, no way I'm about to sit up here and idolize this and act like we can't go home and get to work, or we don't have tools, and maybe we don't have the same exact tools, but we have the same vehicle and we have the same opportunity. So there's no way I'm gonna put myself second tier to anybody that I see doing anything, because I know what we're capable of personally. So I'm gonna go over this part and then I'm gonna pass it back to you. So fast forward into the winter of that same year, our first year in the business, I was pregnant. I was still like, poor me. Dang, why am I pregnant? Ray's not pregnant. Like, Ray doesn't have to, like, his body's not changing. And we had this event that we could qualify for. Mind you, I was a royalty member. Like, I could retail. I worked from home. I was not in a club still at that point. And we had an event for a leadership. And I didn't qualify. I literally missed it by like 200 points. And Hooter and Ray, they qualified. And I was being so rude to him. And I was texting him like, whatever, we'll just talk when you get home. Have fun since you're at the retreat. I hope you like all these nasty things, like such a lower level version of me, but it's funny now. And when he came home, we had a team event. And before we walked inside our team event, we were in the car and we were arguing back and forth basically, and I was like nagging kind of in a sense, and eventually he was just like, look, you didn't qualify. I qualified. You could have qualified, but you didn't. But since I qualified, I went and I got the stuff, and I have it here for you. You can ask me any question you want, but all this back and forth, I'm not doing that. And so I was just I had to sit my ego down and like really look myself in the face and say, yeah, like, you didn't qualify. Like, you say all this stuff, like you tell yourself. And for me, it was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go to press. I'm going to be great. I am great. Like all this stuff. But it was like, shut up. Like me to me, it was like, shut up and just do the work then. Like, qualify then. Walk the stage then. Like, do as much as you can to where it's like literally undeniable. And so that really just put me in a position. I was working a shift a few weeks later, and one of Ray's notebooks fell down onto the ground randomly, and I picked it up, I read it, and literally every I'm so happy and grateful for was true. And I remember waking up in our one-bedroom apartment, negative. I when we found out we were expecting, you know, my parents were like, you need to get a real job. Like I wasn't talking to my parents for a while and stuff like that. And I would come out, we had no furniture in our 1-bedroom apartment except for our bed. And he would be sitting at my old DJ table doing PD. And in my mind, I'm like, yo, that shit's not gonna pay the bills. Like, what the F is going on right now? I'm so confused with where we're at. And I was so wrong. And I was so negative. Ray seen what I couldn't see before I seen it. And with his consistency and his dedication, I was just like, I'm not about to get left behind. Like, not me. So if I have to go double time, if I have to do this work, and I just realized in January, like, yo, our son is gonna be here in like 2 months. What kind of a woman am I right now? And what kind of woman can I become in 2 months? So fast forward to that, you guys, this is actually the world team training.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I'm going to do a training for you guys that I've done probably twice before. So I'm actually gonna stop sharing and I'm gonna start sharing a different slide. Give me 1 second. Okay, there we go. Okay. Okay, so world team. So we had a team training a few weeks ago, and my section was retail and recruiting. So really quick, just to give you guys some context, I have 20 frontline that are actually active, like they'll text me back and forth, they're like still working. I have right now a 10-stone pin. Next month, I'll be in my first cut of my 12, which isn't really technically a thing, but it's still a milestone for me. And so I did retail and recruiting. And so I was able to go back and look through my notebooks of where I was at. And this was actually at the December STS after Ray came home and said what he said. I was just in a different mind space. It was like something just clicked. And so this was in my notebook. It says, I am here now at this time, at this place to make a difference, to serve, to make it big. My 2018 playbook is about to be ridiculous. My 2018 playbook is going to be asked for by a lot of people. My 2018 playbook is necessary for my family, my city, my personal evolution, and I am committed to playing big. And so it became an intentional focus. I was world team, but I needed to move up the marketing plan. So I needed distributors, like unlimited amounts, because I was playing by the law of the thirds, and I knew that that was inevitable for me. And no matter what, I was going to use every single interaction as practice so that I could become my best at recruiting people, keeping them, grooming them, and transforming their entire lives. So it was about becoming attractive. It was like, why are people wanting to be around me? Why are people drawn to this business? I could no longer sell shakes. I was like, this is not what I want to do for the rest of my life. Like, I love the positivity of it. I love the community. I love the healthy. But selling shakes is just not going to cut it for my fulfillment. And actually, somebody told me, and it was Laura Holloway, actually, at one of our STS events. She looked at me and she was like, well, stop selling shakes then. And I was like, well, what am I going to sell then? Because I need my volume and I need my money. So, like, what are we doing? She was like, no, you need to sell who you are as a person. You need to focus on how you're being. Why would people want to join your team? People don't want to join your team to sell shakes. People will learn how to sell shakes because they enjoy being around you and you inspire them. But people don't want to sell shakes and tea. It's so much more to that. So it became clear to me why the intentional PD. And so for me, my first wind of personal development got to be confidence. I got to shed those layers of the past of telling myself, I don't know if I could do that. Or, you know what, it's getting hard, I'm gonna just quit. Different things like that I got to get over. And I got to start becoming valuable so I could add more value to the marketplace. So I was crystal clear at that point. It was like, look, there's no secret sauce. If you're going to an event or if you're going and hopping on calls and you're like, oh my God, this is it. This STS is the one. Somebody's gonna say something that's just gonna give me the tools to grow my business. It's just not what it is. That's not reality. If you've been to 2 STSs so far, you've already heard what you need to hear. Consistency in these things right here on the screen. People talk about it all the time. So this was my daily non-negotiable list. So it was watch 5 videos, marketing plan video, 100 person list. So that first was what I knew that I got to do to set up my distributors. I got to get clear on how am I going to set up somebody if they message me and say they want to join the business. Because if I'm not clear on what I get to do after they say, hey, I'm ready, well, then I'm not confident. And honestly, I'm kind of meek now. And I'm not playing as big as I can play because I'm scared that they're going to ask me and then I'm not going to know exactly what to say. And then they're going to run away and they're not going to want to do this because they're going to think I don't know what I'm talking about and all this crazy stuff. You get to get clear on your step-by-step. What are you going to do when somebody says they want to join the business? So that was first 3 things right there was that. And this was also things that I was going to duplicate within my team. So I want to add value. I want my team to add value in the chats. I get to add value in the chats. Events, non-negotiables. I ams every single day. Gratitude, Jim Rohn, Mark Hughes, show love. Like these were what I was going to set my new distributors up with. Daily habits to do because I also didn't want to just settle and just be like, oh, you want to join? Awesome. Add you in the chat. Welcome. No, I wanted to have standards. I wanted to have people who were willing to commit to working on themselves. So as the leader goes, so goes the group. So this is an example that I like to show a lot of people of why do you go wide. So this is you at the top. You get 3 frontline. What are they going to do? They're going to go and get 3 frontline. Hopefully. And so there's your org. Or you could get 3, and through the midst of that, as they're going to get 3 more, you're still in the field and you're getting more. Because look at this, one versus the other, what do you want? So these are action steps that I would do every day. So wake up in the morning, reading Developing the Leader Within. On my way to the gym, listening to Developing the Leader Within. Getting on the Stairmaster, listening to it in my ear, reading the book while I'm listening to it at the same time. Like it was clear for me that I got to become a better leader than how I ever was in basketball, how I ever was in class before anything else in my life. I got to become better than that because this was getting ready to pay me more than I ever imagined that I was going to be able to make. And so the capacity level that I was willing to take on because I want to earn something that is equal to my value. And so if I'm settling at my value and my personal development takes a back seat, then I'm capping myself off subconsciously. And so it was back to the club, Jim Rohn, Mark Hughes, headphones on, taking notes, writing it, posting the picture, putting it in my DAP chat, showing my team what I'm doing and why it's important. Scheduling and orientation was a non-negotiable every day coming off of extravaganza. And after a while, I was like, okay, I'm tired of repeating myself because we scheduled 3 today. Just put them all on the call. One of them's bound to sign up. Fire, okay, we got 3 people on the call. Actually, let's try to get 6 people on the call tonight so that we can have at least 2 people come out of this ready to go. Inviting to the next steps call. I was clear on what I was plugging these people into. Following up with people. Interacting with new people on Instagram. Moving my volume every single day, no matter what, whether it's a lift off or anything. In my IAMs and my Shake Tea and Tabs. So I'm going to go back to sharing this really quick. Raymond. Oops. Wrong one. I don't know why this keeps coming up. Sorry, you guys. The wrong one keeps coming up. You see that? I'm trying to bring this up. It's like not what I'm trying to.
Well, if you need to, just pull it on your phone and just read off of that.
Sorry, you guys. Let me just stop screen sharing. Why is this happening? Everything is no problem. We're figuring it out. Okay, you guys, I can't find it. So coming off of the world team grind, we were clear intentions. We knew what we were doing every single day, no matter what. And we were holding each other accountable through the midst of all of that. And it just kind of got to be a locking of arms of this is what we're doing, this is where we're going, and this is how you get there. And so coming off of, what year was that? 2017, which was our first extravaganza. We sat in the rafters. The next year we had the opportunity and we actually qualified platinum. And so for us, qualifying platinum was like, oh my gosh, we're down here finally. Who I felt like we were, like, we're not just, like, I didn't want to just sit in the rafters. Like, I don't know about you, but when I came in my first time and I didn't have no designated seat, and it was basically like I had to wait in the line, I was like, this is not it. I had to write on my lap. I did not appreciate that at all. So it got to be very intentional and very clear that it's platinum until Prez. Like, I'm qualifying platinum until we can get on that red carpet. And it was so intentional at the time. And what we got to realize is that it's not just going to be people showing up and saying, hey, I want to be on your team. It was going to be some real people and personalities that we were going to have the opportunity to maneuver through. But if we weren't equipped with the tools that we knew were necessary to groom leadership, then we were going to have a hard time. And our check was always going to meet us where we were at. So qualifying, do you want to share more on like when we qualified Prez not qualified Prez, when we qualified Platinum?
Do you have that?
I'm trying to find it.
Okay, cool. That was supposed to be our little guider.
Yeah,
no
now
problem.
we like, what?
All good. Okay. So yeah, I mean, part of what she was just saying, I mean, like the capacity thing. So how I feel about personal development, it, like she said, like your level of capacity is going to match where you're at. So like if you have a problem that comes to you and you can't find a solution, then like that's the work. That's the work that we all get to work on. And I feel like the reason why like the Jay Mikowskis and the Stephen Crawfords and the Super Marios, the reason why they have the growth that they have is because the capacity of solutions that they're able to solve within their organizations and within other organizations, right? So is this good?
Yeah, this is us qualifying on the floor. Me, Ray, and Hooter, we all qualified. So it was like a big deal. It was our first time, seeing the lights like in person and like being at the extra qualifiers events and everything like that. It just was like amazing. But our upline, Jay, obviously he's constantly dangling the carrot in front of our face. And so as we get to the qualifiers thing, he hops onto the Prez bus and is like, see you guys there. So it was always like, yeah, this is dope, but no, like more. And so coming right off of that extravaganza, Jay would always tell us like, you guys need to be ready to open up a club. You guys need to be ready to open a club. So we started saving our money. Like every day it was like, I need to be able to transfer something into my savings. Like I'm not out here working the bar, retailing just to live. No, I'm not thinking survival. I'm thinking, how can we get up so that we can invest into a club? And so one day he was like, you guys don't need to open up a club right now. Just focus on the club that you're in, because at the time we were working in what was originally Ray's sponsors club, but he quit the business. And so we just took it over. And we started to work literally 7 to 7s, like while we're pregnant, like after we had the baby. And for a month, I didn't work in the club, but Ray did. And we were just doing like whatever it took, 7 to 7. For a point in time, we were walking to the club. Ray's car died and we got to get another one. But in the meantime, we had to make it work no matter what. So one day
So when we came back from extravaganza, long story short, Jay told us we get to open up a nutrition club. So we had a period of time to look for a club. We found the club very quickly. It was probably like a week. But the reason why we had the money ready to go is because Jay would sometimes ask us, like, yo, you guys want to go to a restaurant or whatever? We would consistently say no, because it was like, no, I'm saving for a club just in case. You told us we got to be ready whenever it's that time. So it was like staying disciplined, even when it was hard. Like, of course, I wanted to go to the sushi spot or whatever, go hang out with people, but I know I'll be $60 down. If I'm $60 down and I'm trying to save for a nutrition club to earn 6 figures or more, I'm gonna be pushing myself back. So I'm gonna hold myself back. So got started with the nutrition club, and as you guys can see, I don't know what I'm doing at all. So in this picture, like we figured it out. In our organization, Jay's cousin Steven, he's a genius. He knows how to do all the bar work and things like that. So it was a lot of late night FaceTime calls. This picture was probably at 3 a.m. So at this location, our negotiation skills were not top notch at all. We didn't know what to do. So it was a whole lot of figuring out. So at this location, it was like mold in the walls, the whole thing. We got sick. I was still in there. It was no heat. It was the middle of the winter.
Well, tell them why there was no heat. There was no heat because when we signed the lease, we always see people like demo day. And so we just go in our club, we sign the lease, and we just start knocking things down. Like Ray knocked the heat thermometer off the wall, and that's why we didn't have any heat through the winter. Okay. And we started to run out of money, and we didn't even really have the money to be able to get the people to come out to do this. Like, there were so many things that we didn't know or think of at that time. And on top of that, we learned so much because Steven, which is Jay's frontline, and his cousin, he called and did our negotiations for us, and I just listened on the line. I was so nervous to ask a landlord for anything. Like, even the opportunity to have the lease, I was like, oh my God, they're gonna say no. Like, I was so paranoid because I felt like we wanted this so bad, and we didn't negotiate properly. So we actually had to get 4 dumpsters, which were $500 each, an extra $2,000 we did not have. The club was 30 minutes away from where we moved. We just had a brand new baby. We then moved an hour away from our club. And eventually we ended up selling the club to one of Ray's third lines. So completely out of my organization, at this point, all in Ray's downline. And so from that, though, you guys, came duplication. So we opened that club. That club name was Oberlin Nutrition. And all these clubs came out of that. And Ray currently right now in his 1 to 3 has 15 clubs open. I in my 1 to 3 have 11 clubs open. Ray has 7 in build out and I have 6 in build out. And I would say probably not lease signed, but I'm going to go open up a club. I probably have 10 people and he has probably 15. Cause again, he's my sponsor. So I'm in his downline. So those clubs in my 1 to 2 are in his 1 to 3. So it's like a double dip. And it's just the best double dip ever. So off of that, you guys came Extravaganza 2019. This was exciting because at this point we had team. We had more team, people where it's I can't make sure everybody's good. Y'all just don't have to take care of each other. And we had our own room.
Yeah, we had team and we had, I feel like at this point we were at mill team. So this is the first time we went to Extravaganza where we could actually kind of enjoy ourselves like we thought. We had a little bit more confidence. We had a little bit more money. So it was okay, we're going to Extravaganza. It's lit. We walking down the street. We see Garen Jones walking down the street. Jonathan Weber walking down the street. It's yo, this is wild. So we're in New Orleans. So it was just a big energy around the event. So coming off.
Ray walked the stages Get 2-5 that year and Mill. And I walked as Get. I was in cuts. I believe we were both wearing cuts, but we were just at that point, it was we're cleared. I know exactly what I want. I know exactly how many I want. I know where I want them. And we just we agreed upon what we were going to do and how we were going to do it. And so year on year, extravaganza to extravaganza, we cut Get to 5. I was literally in and out of meal cuts all last year. It was like, to be honest, it was exhausting. But it was such a lesson for me that I felt like my team is meal. Like, we're meal. It's done. But clearly it wasn't done, because one month we would be at 4,100 royalties, and the next month we would be at like 32. And I was like, this is like frustrating. I wanted the 4%. Like, I was hungry for the 4%. So anyways, came right into the first quarter, smash meal. And then right after that, we went meal January, February, March, and then right into April, May, June, we double cut meal 7.5 and prez. And I remember the moment when we were sitting there, and who was cutting? Somebody else was cutting. I don't know what happened. Ray had just hit prez. And we were talking about meal 7.5, and for whatever reason, I was like, I don't know if it's this month. People are in the chat, our leadership chat, like, this month is it? 7,500, and I'm responding like, no, it's not it. We need 2 more months. We need XYZ. This has to happen. I need to get 2 more active super. Like, I'm like, no, not yet. It's not it. And then I'm looking at our numbers, and I'm like, I think we might double cut price. And so immediately after that, Ray's on the phone with Hooter, like, where's your org at? And he tells us the numbers, and we all just sit there like quiet, and we're like, I think we're gonna double cut prez, and I think we're gonna cut prez together. Like, let's get it. And to be transparent with you guys, Hooter, his other frontline, actually cut meal 7.5 the month before. And listen to this. We come in the gym. So those of you who know me, or if you were to know me, I'm like on it. Like, I'm in the chats, like, I'm on the calls, I'm leading the call, I'm like in the mastermind. I love this. I genuinely have a passion for just moving things forward. And Hooter is like, I love everybody. Let's do this. Y'all can do it. So he's such a loving person, and he's a great coach, but 2 different sides. We walk into the gym because it's quarantine, and so we're all working out in the back of this club, about 7 of us, and Jay's on the bike, and as soon as I walk in, he goes, dang, Gold, I can't believe Hooter hit 7.5 before you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah. I think I'm going to hit press before him, though. It's fine. Because there's always a playful thing or whatever, but we ended up hitting together. We were all in Arizona celebrating me and Jay's birthday, and we were celebrating because we knew me and Hooter were going to be hitting our final cuts of prez, and Ray was hitting his final cut of 15K, and his final cut of 1 diamond, and his final cut of 2 diamond, and we were just so grateful and present, because it was always the pinnacle. It was always what we wanted to obtain, and you got your McDonald's. So just last week, and this is what Steven was talking about, we got a package in the mail, and I'm like, who sent us a gift? Like, I don't know what's in here. And why do you have one too? We both have one. So we open it. As soon as I opened it, my mouth just dropped. And you know, you dream of that moment of when you'll walk the stage for prez, and like, what am I gonna say? Oh my God, my team's gonna go crazy when I hit prez, because my team is like super extra and like loud and like girls for life. So I knew that it was gonna be amazing, but when COVID happened and it was like, it's canceled, it's not live, it was like a piece of you inside, like, damn, better keep it moving, sis. Like, better hit another pin, because that's old news come next year, 2021. Like, ain't nobody checking for me and my medallions. Like, better get the party started again. So, but when we opened the envelope and we seen these in here, my heart dropped, and it was like, 4 of them things, and I was so happy. And then boom, here comes Ray opening up his, and it's like 5 of them things, and I'm like, damn, I'm just hungry again. Like, let's get back to work. But do you have anything to say about that?
No, I think you did. I mean, it was just a magical experience, you know. I mean, I just like to think, like, you know, the pen these medallions came home to us, but it's really just the team, you know, like all those nutrition clubs that you guys saw, like that's what makes, and all the people that are being helped, that's what makes it up.
Yeah, we should talk about like that year through that, because this past year was the year, like coming off of that extravaganza, right before that extravaganza, a club in our organization, which was like the second club, opened up and they started doing 300 a day. And they moved to their hometown, which was an hour and a half away from us, and it was my second line. And we didn't have the best relationship at all. Like,
Yeah.
it was like a lot of lack of gratitude, a lot of like expecting of like things that you should do, or a lot of like, we don't need your help type of energy. And so that's just being real and honest.
Yeah.
Sorry, you guys. But when that moment happened and they're doing that, they didn't have any team. And the woman in the relationship, she was actually like 8 months pregnant. And I'm like, Ray, what do I do? And that very week, we were in our final week of build out, or we had just opened one of our clubs, like one that me and Ray personally owned together. And we opened up doing like 120 a day. It was like going. And I just had to choose higher level leadership over anything, over like personal things or how I felt. And I just got to call and say, hey, is there anything that you guys need from me? And they said, yes, we need your help. Can you come here? And so I have a son who's 1.5 years at the time, and we have a brand new club. Actually, at the point in time, we have 2 clubs, one that's not doing that well and one that is brand new and doing well. And I got to just say, no, like I gotta go and be out there with people who I'd never really clicked with yet. And it was a little weird. I was like sleeping at their parents' house or their grandma's house or whatever, you know, they're having me in their home so I can stay there and help them. And I just got to restructure the entire flow of the club. How are we gonna run this? We have 3 people coming in. We need to make sure the service is right. We gotta have 4 people on bar at least. So like I'm doing interviews in the morning and like, you wanna start this afternoon? Awesome, like get behind bar, let's go. And then as soon as I come home, Ray goes out there. So like we're not seeing each other for like a whole week and making sure everybody else is good. No matter what. And through the midst of that, my front line's actually from that same city. I'm like, you gotta find a club out here. They're doing 300 a day. This is the first club out here. Like, no way you're gonna just let this just go like that. And so we ended up finding a location for her as well. She signed the lease by the time that like week was over. And so it was just like, no matter what, whatever it takes. In the club that we had opened at the time, it was Acro Nutrition. We were living in Cleveland, Ohio. It was about 15 minutes away from where we lived. But we invested into 2 of our front line to have a club where I could go and work and earn volume as well, and Ray could earn volume, but it wasn't something that we had to be at every single day. And I want to tell you right now that that is just not the way. That's not the way to grow a royalty at all. And so we just had to get to a point where we were actually struggling with that team. As time went on, it was a disconnect, or was like this boss type of energy, like Golden's the boss, and you know, she's asked us to do these things, or like my coaching probably wasn't on point, and like my languaging. And so it was just like a lack of coachability, and I thought that my girls were gonna quit. We had a FaceTime call, and it was last winter, and one of my best friends, frontline, and one of the people I see so much for, she got on a Zoom with me, and she was just like, I'm tired, I need like a month off. And inside, I'm like, a month? A month? Well, you better find somebody to cover you, sis, because I got a kid at home. Like, I can't come down here for a month. And so, but I got to say, okay, no problem. I got you. Let me know if you're okay. Do you need anything? Like, genuinely from my heart, and not, let me stop sharing this. Like, genuinely from my heart, and not just like move on to the next. I don't got time for this. Like, so much, I feel like sometimes our coaching can come from a space of like, no, not right now. Like, I'm flowing. Like, not right now. It's the 4th quarter. Like, not right now. My club just opened. Not right now, my kids got pictures today. Like, it's never right now, but it's always right now. Because that moment that things happen where it's awkward or it's painful or it hurts or it's not going the way that you wanted it to go, it's a test. It's a capacity stretch. Yeah, tip for Prez, it's a test. And if you don't choose growth in that moment, then your pin is just going to meet you right back where you're at. And so that's why the PD. That's why the books. So that your awareness can be at a higher level to be like, oh, they're hurting. I don't know if you ever seen this interview, but we watch a lot of interviews by like just anybody who's great. So like Jay-Z, he said in one of his interviews, he was like, you know, like growing up, people would get into fights for somebody just like looking at you. And it would really be like, what you looking at? And the reason why the person is so angry is because they're like, oh my God, you can see me right now. You can see that I'm hurting. You can see that my home life is not well. You can see that I'm in lack of so many things right now. And so it's up to us as leaders to have the awareness to be like, this is like popping back at me. Like, I feel like she's being a little smart. To not take it personally, but to be aware to see like this person is not feeling seen or heard or loved. So like, how can I make this relationship strong enough to where when they're feeling like this, I'm still the person that they come to help them up, not to point the finger. But that's the relationship game. And so it's so much of go, 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 like let's go together, but it's also so much of like the in-between, the glue. The people that I can call in the time when we're in cuts and it's crunch time, and I'm like, I need to be able to be on the phone, like, how much volume you have coming through, like, period. Like, sis, tell me, I need to know, our gap is this, where are you at, how much volume? I cannot call my frontline who is a little like, okay, we have a situation here at our home. It's okay, it's no problem. But those relationships are in place for those, not just for those times, but for the tough times, the tight times. And through the midst of it, it's like, have fun. Something I got to check myself with was have fun, but be a light in the midst of it. So as I'm hanging around with my girls, I'm me. Like, I'm crazy. I'm saying things that I'm saying to my, like, that like my closest people know. Like, if you're thinking it, I'm probably saying it. I'm having fun, I'm being crazy, I'm being loud, I'm like doing all of that in a respectable space, in a respectable manner, but I'm letting people know that it's okay to be who you are as my highest self. So when I first started this business, sometimes Ray would be like, why are you being like that? Like, why are you doing that? Like, that's so extra. And I would be like, I'm just being myself. Like, let me be me. Like, can I be me? Like, dang. It was like, I ain't telling you to not be you. All I'm telling you is to be your best self. And you let me know if that's your best self or not. And so I was like, not really. That's just comfortable for me. So it's not always like as the sapphire of whatever you may be, ruby, sapphire, pearl. As much as you may be a pearl, it can't always be like, oh, well, you know, it's okay. Just forget it. This gap is just too big, and I don't want to bug anybody, so let's just maybe next month. No, at the end of the month, Pearl, you got to get really emerald, and you got to break that gap down. It's a 1,000-point gap. You got 12 people on your team. How many documented volume points does each person need? Probably like 80 points, I think. Get it done. It's like tap into those. And we were just watching an interview the other day of this podcast that we really enjoy. And Ray told me to watch it because the speaker on there said that they were just falling in love with being in a certain realm of their life, that they just use that as their comfort spot. So when things would get tough, and hard, they would just go immediately to the emotional realm and like, this is so tough, and like, because it was just normal. When sometimes you could activate your logical realm and be like, no, actually, this is easy, this is solvable, this is quick. So it's about growing into a space where you can be aware of when you need to use certain tools. So for certain people on your team, you want to get clear on what is their love language, what are their values, what do they value. Last year, December 2019, we had a team training. I was probably the MC for a few days and like a few of the sections, and I also had a retail and recruiting section. I had at the time probably like 12 frontline. 2 of them came. And my thing is events. Like, I get people there. Like, no matter what, every day, like every time we have an event, I'm making sure I have the most frontline there. Like, period. Like, that's what I like to do. And I panicked, and I'm like, what in the heck is going on? And so I had 2 options. One, I could penalize them. I could coach how I used to coach. Events are non-negotiable. You weren't there, so you're not getting my coaching for 2020. Like, it's a wrap. Or I could look at the situation and see, what did I say, or what happened there to where there was such a disconnect of how I was coaching and leading. And so it became less about what I was training on and more about what people were receiving as an intentional focus. So that way I could be clear on how clear are my people. And so sometimes as you log into your BizWorks and you're looking at people's value, you're like, what? I'm confused. Why is this not already at 2,500 and they're like a 6K producer? Like, yo, what's up? Do you bust through the line like, hey, yo, you good? Like, I was just running through BizWorks and I see you at blank, blank, blank. No, no, don't do that. Don't do that. And honestly, realizing as that became a thing that I ever did, I made a vow to myself. The moment I ever find myself following up with one of my front lines about their value, I need to just and go get new. Because I'm tripping. That's not my game to play. I already gave the opportunity. I already plugged them into the chats. Everything else is extra. So if I want more from them, then yeah, maybe I could, do a little figuring out, like, do you need a one-on-one? Like, do you understand how to recruit frontline? Like, how are you doing your follow-ups? Like, here's a tool for this. Like, giving tools as opposed to just like, why? Why is your value here? Why didn't you get on the call? Why was your video not on? Like, get over it. Get over it and get into focus and get into action with other people, because the opportunity is not stopping. It's not stopping for you. It's not stopping for them. So lastly, you guys, I'm going to leave you guys with some 4th quarter action tips. For me, the 4th quarter is my favorite time of the year. It's the time where it seems like all the fog settles, like everything gets chill, and you're able to like kind of look around and be like, oh, okay. This person hit get it, but they're really an active world team member. And they're still not clear on what a royalty is. So me and you need to come visit me or stay the night, or we need to hang out more, and we need to get clear on what a royalty is. Because you rode the wave of COVID, I'm so proud of you, but I need intentional action coming into 2021. Are you clear? What do you want? So this 4th quarter, for me, I feel like 2021, which everybody, I hope you feel like this is going to be the biggest year ever, and I cannot wait for the compound effect. This business is a compound effect. Whatever you do frontline has the opportunity to compound infinite. So through this fourth quarter, you get to get clear on what are you doing every single day. Like really clear, like your 10 things. I tell my people, have at least 10. 5 things that are gonna mentally move you forward, and 5 things that are gonna mentally move that are gonna move your business forward. So mentally, it would be like gratitude, Jim Rohn, Mark Hughes, leadership book, and a podcast that you're listening through today, or like an audio book that you're currently on. Okay, boom. That's like waking up, taking a shower, brushing your teeth. You gotta equip yourself. Like, get fly, get ready to go to the club, get ready to go out into the world and meet people, and take care of your mind. Then the other part is moving your business forward. So like, what's your intention through this quarter? Schedule a one-on-one with some of my key people. Or maybe it looks like schedule an orientation because you don't have enough frontline yet. Schedule an orientation, move volume, add value to the chats, talk to multiple people on Instagram, post a poll. It could be less, it could be more. Whatever you put in right now, though, will show up for you in the first quarter. And so what I always tell my people is, are they going to think about you or are they going to think about me? Because we might have some of the same followers. And I'm going to make sure that they know exactly what I do. And ask yourself that, do your followers know what you do? You know what I mean? Like, it's so easy to hop up on Instagram and be like, hey, what's up, you guys? Like, going here today, going to work out, doing XYZ, but do people know that they could do that too? Or are we just subconsciously literally rubbing this into people's faces? Like, look what I can do. Work from anywhere. Literally all my posts on Instagram end with, join us, sis. It's like a joke. Like, people make fun of me, but like, that's so vain. People laugh at that, but they know it. It's drill. People also know, they ask me a question, I'm like, ask the chat. Like, I'm so confused. What time's the call then? Ask the chat. Do you have the link for the call? Ask the chat. And create that how you want that to be for you. So I'm thinking 100 frontline. So I can't set all my frontline up. What does 55 in the chat mean? I'm like, what does that mean? That means clapping? That's fire. Wow, you guys are so creative. I'm like, why do people keep saying 55? Did somebody ask if you're aligned? Put 55 in the chat. So get clear, your list, your non-negotiable list, commit to that though. Maybe send it to one other person and be like, this is what we're doing every single day. That is what builds a business. It's no like magical thing like you had this big event or you had this huge grand opening at your club or whatever you did. No, it's just the consistency and the daily disciplines. And I encourage you to talk to your story more authentically through this season and watch how it shows up for you in the first quarter. And it's very important for me to double down on the personal development through this season, because this is when, and maybe it's not you, but for me as a leader, I get to tell myself like, yo, maybe you're not gonna get like funny feelings, or like, we're from Ohio, so it's not sunny weather all the time. So sometimes during these seasons, people can start to get down on themselves and a little bit, for lack of a better word, depressed, because it's not sunny every day and they're not just living off of like the sun or whatever. I don't know what it is, but it's a thing. And it's not about whether or not I experience that, but it's about, am I going to be able to be there for somebody on my team if they do experience that, or if something comes up for them, or if they tell me they don't know if they have time to do X, Y, Z. Am I going to be developed enough to show them that actually, yes, you can, without them having an attitude or feeling a way towards me because my language was so lazy? Those are the things. It's being able to be likable, being able to influence people, being able to hold people accountable without making them feel like they're good enough. And also having grace for your people through the seasons or whatever they get to experience, because your journey is not their journey. And obviously you don't want to use that as an excuse. My journey is my journey. But it's grace in knowing that not everybody is me. And not everybody may want the same thing that I want. Or everybody's just simply not me. Or you. So if people aren't showing up to the call like you are, or people aren't in the chat active like you are, they're not recruiting like you are, it's not a, what's wrong with them? It's a, they're different from you and they might not have found their bag yet. Nutrition clubs, challenges, fit clubs, Instagram, whatever it may be, things are so different. So don't find yourself so focused and forced to be like, new distributor. Okay, log onto your Instagram and let everybody know what you're up to. Everybody's ain't doing that. But do as much as you can to be in the know of how to do at least something, or obtain some sort of PDF from somebody on your team of how to do something. And then last but not least, you guys, just stay plugged in with your organization. You have an upline press who's plugging in and doing the things and showing up and growing. Stay plugged in with that. Put your ego down. Something Jay used to always tell us was, gain an opinion when you hit press. And so it was never like, let me fix this. Like, let me add this to this, unless I was like asked. Because so much stuff is already done for us. So plug in, do your PD, and that'll be enough value that you can add to your organization in general, and be in the chats, adding value, because when you signed up, somebody was in the chat adding value, which helped you get to this place to where you could qualify for a call like this. So don't just tuck those experiences that you grow through. When something comes up for you in a conversation with somebody, hop in the chat, voice message it over, add some context with some words, and let's each one teach one. Because we all need each other, and you'll go way faster if you have way more people going in the same direction that you're going. So again, thank you guys so much for your time and for allowing us to share on this call. We appreciate it so much. And my apologies for Ray being absent. He got to be with our son for this last half of the call.
Thank you. Sip that tea, sis. I think that's what we were saying, sis. Sip that tea, sis. That was really, really phenomenal. I took a ton away. I don't even want to. We don't even have to do any more, having conversation right now, because I believe we completely understand why, she went from global expansion team to president's team in a year, and why Ray, all I kept hearing, throughout the entire presentation was that, I didn't hear her say anybody made them do anything. It was all choices and decisions that they made. And, how they stayed, committed. And I don't know, I took a whole lot away, a lot of leadership things. So I thank you for that. The last 15, 20 minutes or so, I took a lot of value away. So guys, we have a chat. So let's go ahead and get in the chat and put your biggest takeaways from this call inside of the chat. She's in there. We're going to add Ray so they can see what you guys have, to say about this. And then next month, don't forget to qualify for November. We're going to Africa. We're going to South Africa. We got 20K. I think he's executive. I think he got one diamond. He might got two. I don't know. They move crazy out there. Tumi Siko. It's going to be crazy. Super young in the business and killing it. So we get an opportunity to keep qualifying for amazing calls, you guys. So let's go ahead and get in these chats, guys. And I'm going to let you guys unmute yourselves. And we out of here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.